Hey, so what if I told you there were a handful of simple, daily actions that could put you way ahead of 90% of people in two of the most important areas of life, your health and your wealth? Well, today, we're breaking down that exact blueprint. It comes from creator and professional strongman Vince Wilkinson, and it's a super practical guide to building a better future. Let's get into it.
Okay, that's a pretty bold claim to start with, right? But Vince, who's a 27-year-old guy who's already built a significant net worth and owns multiple homes, he argues this isn't about some get-rich-quick scheme or a fad diet. He says these are just fundamental principles that, if you stick with them, create incredible results over time. He's really clear. This is a long game, but it's a game that absolutely anyone can win. So, the first big idea here is all about creating a solid foundation. Think about it like this. Before you can build a massive skyscraper, you have to stop digging a deeper hole. Vince says the exact same thing is true for our lives. Before you can build wealth or a stronger body, you have to stop doing the things that are actively working against you. And here's where we see the first powerful parallel. For fitness, it's about cutting out the obvious stuff, the things you know are holding you back, like sugary sodas and fast food. And the financial version of that? High-interest credit card debt. It's just this constant weight, this drag on your progress, exactly like those unhealthy habits. The main idea is super simple. First, just get to a stable, neutral position by cutting out the obvious negatives. Okay, so you've stopped digging. The hole isn't getting any deeper. So what's next? Well, now it's about proactively designing a system where making the right choice is the easy choice. This is where we stop relying on willpower, which, let's be honest, runs out for all of us, and start building a lifestyle where success becomes almost automatic.
For fitness, this means you gotta engineer your environment. It sounds simple, but it is so powerful. If there's no junk food in your house, you can't eat it at 10 p.m. If you get a standing desk, you're naturally gonna sit less. The whole idea is to make healthy living your default setting, not something you have to constantly fight yourself to do. You're literally building an environment that serves your goals. And the financial version of engineering your environment? It's tapping into what some people call the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. This is the engine that can make pretty much anyone wealthy over time. It's the magic where your money starts working for you, and then the money it earns also starts working for you. It's like a snowball of growth just rolling downhill. And look, it starts slow. It starts so slow, in fact, that for the first few years it might feel like nothing's really happening, but then, as time goes on, that growth starts to accelerate, and then it just goes exponential. This picture right here is exactly why starting, even with just a little bit, as early as you can, is the single most important factor. So, how do you actually do it? The source gives a beautifully simple three-step plan. Number 1, open a retirement account, like a Roth IRA. 2, automate it. Set up automatic monthly payments so you don't even have to think about it. And 3, invest that money in a simple, broad market index fund. That's it. It's the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it strategy to let compounding do its thing. All right, so the foundation is poured, you've stopped the negative stuff, and you've built your positive systems. Now we move into phase 2, and this is all about being intentional. This is where we stop just drifting and start actually steering the ship. It's about having a clear destination in mind and a map to get there, for both your body and your bank account. The source brings up this really cool concept from Japan called a misogi. The idea is you pick one big, kind of scary, audacious physical challenge for yourself each year. This could be anything: running a marathon, losing 50 pounds, climbing a mountain. What it does is give you incredible focus. It completely changes going to the gym from a chore into a mission with a crystal clear purpose. And here is the financial parallel, and man, this is a huge one. While cutting your costs is important, you can only cut so much, right? The real ambitious goal, your financial masugi, is to focus on the other side of the equation, making more money. This one idea flips your entire mindset from scarcity and defense to one of growth, possibility, and offense. So what does that look like in the real world? Well, the source suggests a few things. Start a side hustle. Invest in yourself by learning new skills that make you more valuable, or even strategically change jobs every few years to get those big pay bumps. The key is to stop being passive and start actively working to increase your earning power. A goal is great, but let's be real. Without a concrete plan, it's just a daydream. Your misogi is the destination you're heading to, but the program, that's the step-by-step map that makes sure you actually get there. You need both. And that's true whether you're lifting weights or building wealth. So for fitness, this means getting on a real structured program. The source recommends a simple but super effective push-pull-leg split.
focusing on just a couple of big, compound exercises each day. But here's the absolute key. You have to track your progress. Are you lifting more weight over time? That's the data. That's what tells you your map is working.
And your financial program? It's not about being cheap, it's about being intentional. It's a conscious choice about where your money goes. Figure out what really, truly matters to you, what brings you joy, and spend big on that. Then, be absolutely ruthless in cutting costs on the big stuff that doesn't matter to you. For Vince, that meant a great home gym and travel, while saving a ton on his car and housing.
This brings us to the final and honestly the most powerful part of all this. We've talked about actions and plans, but this next step is what makes it all stick for good. This is where you go from just doing things to being a different kind of person. It's about making success a core part of who you are, which makes all the right decisions feel effortless.
Think about it. What's the real difference between someone who says, I'm on a diet, and someone who just is a healthy person? The difference is everything. The first one is temporary. It relies on willpower, which always runs out. The second one is an identity. When you see yourself as a fit person, you just naturally make choices that line up with that. It's not a struggle anymore. It's just who you are.
So, what's the financial version of this identity shift? It's moving from the mindset of a consumer, someone who spends money, to the mindset of an owner, someone who acquires assets that make money. This is the ultimate mental shift for building serious, long-term wealth. The source uses real estate as the perfect example of an owner's asset. And just check this out, an investment property can build wealth in 4 different ways at the exact same time. You get cash flow from the rent, your tenants are paying down your mortgage for you, the property itself is hopefully going up in value, and on top of all that, you get big tax benefits. It is an incredibly powerful machine for building wealth.
And a really powerful way to get your first one is a strategy called house hacking. This is exactly what Vince did. He bought a 3-bedroom house, lived in the basement, he said he lived like a little gremlin, and then he rented out the upstairs bedrooms. This one move completely slashed his biggest expense, housing, and actually turned it into something that made him money.
In the end, every single thing we've talked about today really just boils down to this one core truth. Whether we're talking about fitness or finance, real success doesn't come from one giant heroic action. It comes from the unstoppable, compounding power of small, consistent daily actions, pointed in the right direction over a really long time. That really is the secret sauce.
So that leaves us with one final thought for you. Forget trying to change everything all at once. Looking at all these ideas, what is the single, smallest, positive action you could start doing today and actually stick with that would completely transform your life 10 years from now?